Hello and welcome to this Sunday's Thought for the Day. And thank you for switching in. I want to talk about forgiveness today. Forgiveness is one of the big topics in the Christian faith. It's about God forgiving us, and this is a wonderful thing. And linked to that is that he asks us to forgive each other as well. We ask in the Lord's Prayer, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And I find this is a topic that keeps catching me out ever so often. No matter how long I've been a Christian, this is always a difficult one. And a few weeks ago, this came true again for me. And this is what happened. I was planning to go on a trip with a group of friends or people I know, and I realized that one man had booked on it as well, with whom I had an encounter last year, which was less than pleasurable. I don't want to go into detail, but I really felt quite offended by something that he said, and was quite upset for a little while. And I wasn't really that keen to meet him again, to be honest. And now I saw him on the list of people coming to that trip, and for a moment I thought, well, I'll cancel, I won't go. And then I thought, this is silly, just because of one person whom I had a bad encounter with, I shouldn't really deprive myself of a nice trip that I would have otherwise been looking forward to. So I thought, I will somehow have to sort this out in my own mind. I need to forgive this person. And it took me quite a while. First of all, I thought, well, why should I forgive him? He has clearly offended me, and he hasn't even said sorry or anything like that. Don't even know whether he has realized that I was offended. But anyway, it was a journey, and at the end I went to the trip, and when I got there I had sort of made up my mind. I will not hold anything against him. So when we met, I was nice to him, not overly, but civil, and I didn't let him feel that there was anything. And on the third night he came up to me and he said, you know what, our first encounter wasn't that great, was it? And I had the chance to tell him, yeah, I really felt quite hurt by something you had said. And he said sorry and explained why he said what he had said. And that was really helpful, because we then sort of shook hands and really made our peace. And it was a joyful thing as well, and gave us freedom, him and me. And I've been since thinking a little bit about forgiveness, and I don't know whether you are perhaps struggling to forgive somebody, and I just want to give you a few simple tips that you might find helpful in doing that. The first thing is, forgiving does not mean playing down or ignoring that you may have been hurt or been wronged. Sometimes people think if they forgive, they almost sort of make the thing that happened to them small or insignificant. No, it isn't that. You need to acknowledge that something bad has happened, and that it wasn't right, and it wasn't your fault. The second thing is, forgiving is a matter of your will and not your emotions. You have got no control over your emotional life, really, or influence on how you feel. But what you control is how you act. And that's where forgiveness starts. So don't wait for somehow miraculously having positive feelings towards somebody who has hurt you. That may happen somewhere down the line, but that's not how it starts. You may still feel anxious or uncomfortable with somebody, but that has nothing to do with an act of will to forgive. And when you make the decision to forgive, it comes in a few steps. And I find the first step is to say, I will not take revenge. I will not retaliate. And that can be a first big step, because we all are inclined to sort of pay back in some way, you know. The second step can be that if you're a Christian, you pray for that person. Say to God, well, I want good things for this person. And do that. Third step can be, I will not say bad things about this person to others. Because that's often what happens, doesn't it? You know, you get hurt, you get annoyed by somebody, and rather than going up to them and saying, hey, this wasn't right, you tell everybody else about it. And sometimes eventually it reaches that person, doesn't it? But to stop doing that can be one step towards forgiveness. Number 4, I will do something good to that person. Make an effort. It could be just a smile, it could be a Christmas card, it could be a little act of kindness or help that you give them despite what they have done, and even if they haven't deserved this in your mind, just do it. And be prepared to have a fresh start. Don't keep bringing the old thing up again. If you have made a decision to forgive, then you need to leave it be. You can't bring this up again and again. And if it comes up in the middle of your night and the bitterness rises up, you have to say, no, this is forgiven. This is gone. So sometimes a conversation is helpful, isn't it? If somebody's hurt you, and it can be helpful to say, look, you know, this wasn't good. Can we talk about it and clear the air? But that isn't always necessary. Sometimes the other person doesn't even realize they have done something wrong, and it's just up to you to forgive. But if a conversation happens, then that can be good, because it gives the other person a chance to say sorry, and helps you to understand why they have done what they have done, and you can put your point across as well, and then forgive each other possibly. But are you prepared to forgive even if the other person doesn't say sorry? I find that is a challenge too. But you see, forgiveness has such a power to restore relationships, and also to remove bitterness from yourself. Because sometimes the other person doesn't even realize you've got something against them. But the bitterness and the annoyance can eat you up. You wake up at night and you think, oh, how could they? And, you know, if you can let go of that, it sets you free, if nothing else. So, if you've got somebody, a neighbor, a family member, a colleague, where you feel there is this bitterness, can I encourage you to go on this journey of forgiveness? Start small. Start at step 1. And if you can, move on. And you will see how liberating it is. It's like a fresh wind blowing into your life. May God help you and bless you as you try and forgive. Amen.